Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever given your all to someone you love? Your time, your energy, only to realize that to them, you were just an option? They called when it was convenient, showed up when it suited them, and never truly valued you the way you deserved. The first and most important step in shifting the dynamic is recognizing your worth. Too often we get so caught up in proving ourselves to someone else that we forget to ask the most important question: am I being valued the way I deserve? When a man treats you like an option, it's not because you are lacking in any way, it's because he doesn't see your true value. But here's the thing, that's not a reflection of your worth, but of his inability to appreciate what he had in front of him. You are not someone who should be waiting around for a text, hoping for his attention, or settling for breadcrumbs of affection. You are not here to audition for someone's love or prove that you are worthy of being chosen. True worth comes from within. It's about knowing that you deserve consistency, effort, and commitment. It's about realizing that if someone can't step up to treat you the way you deserve, it's their loss, not yours. You don't have to convince someone to see your value. Your value exists whether they acknowledge it or not. When you truly recognize your worth, you stop tolerating behavior that diminishes you. You stop making excuses for why he doesn't call, why he's inconsistent, or why he only shows up when it's convenient for him. Instead, you start demanding the level of love, respect, and effort that you know you deserve. And if he can't provide that, then he doesn't deserve a place in your life. Recognizing your worth also means understanding that love should feel secure, not like a guessing game. If you are constantly wondering where you stand with someone, then that's a clear sign that they don't value you the way they should. A man who truly cares about you won't leave you questioning your importance. He will make sure you know it. So the moment you stop chasing someone who doesn't appreciate you, you take back your power. You step in the version of yourself that is strong, confident, and unwilling to accept anything less than what she deserves. Because the reality is, you are the prize, not an option, not a backup plan, and certainly not something to be taken for granted. When a man treats you like an option, it's easy to internalize the behavior and start questioning yourself. Was I not good enough? Did I do something wrong? Why didn't he choose me? But let's make one thing clear: his failure to see your worth is his mistake, not yours. A man who keeps you on the sidelines does so because he believes he has control over the situation. He assumes you will always be there, that no matter how little effort he puts in, you will still be waiting, still hoping, still making excuses for him. He operates with a sense of entitlement, thinking that you will tolerate the inconsistency, the lack of commitment, and the disrespect. He believes that he can come and go as he pleases because he underestimates you. But here's the truth. When a man treats you like an option, it's not because you aren't good enough, it's because he never expected to lose you. He got too comfortable, too complacent, thinking that your love was unconditional even in the face of neglect. He assumed that no matter how many times he ignored your worth, you would still be there, waiting for him to realize it. What he didn't realize is that the very moment he chose to treat you as an afterthought, he set himself up for regret. A woman who gives her all and gets nothing in return doesn't stay in that position forever. She grows, she evolves, and eventually she reaches a point where she understands that she deserves more. And when that moment comes, the tables turn. At first, he might not even notice the shift. He may continue to live in his illusion of control, thinking that he can string you along indefinitely. But as soon as you pull away, as soon as you stop answering his calls immediately, stop prioritizing him, and stop making excuses for his behavior, he starts to feel the void. That's when it hits him. That's when he realizes he miscalculated. Suddenly, the woman he took for granted is no longer available. Suddenly, the texts that once received instant replies now go unanswered. The attention he was so used to getting is now given elsewhere, to your dreams, your goals, your happiness. And for the first time, he feels what you once felt: the uncertainty, the insecurity, the pain of not being prioritized. But the greatest mistake he made wasn't just taking you for granted. His biggest mistake was assuming that you would never wake up to your own worth. And now that you have, he's left to deal with the reality he created, the reality where you are no longer an option. Because you have chosen yourself instead, Doc. For so long, he was the one in control. He decided when to text, when to call, when to show up in your life. He had the power because you gave it to him, because you were willing to wait, to hope, to prove yourself worthy of his attention. But now, it's time to flip the script. It's time for him to feel the uncertainty that you once carried. Flipping the script doesn't mean playing games or seeking revenge. It means reclaiming your power, shifting your focus, and refusing to invest in someone who treats you like a convenience. It means no longer being available at his convenience, no longer waiting for the bare minimum, and no longer allowing him to dictate the terms of your relationship. The moment you stop chasing is the moment he starts noticing. See, men are wired to value what they believe they might lose. When you were always available, he felt no urgency to appreciate you. But the second you step back, something shifts. He begins to wonder why your energy isn't centered around him anymore. He starts to feel the absence of your attention. And suddenly the control he once had, it's gone. Now he's the one questioning himself. Why hasn't she texted back? She's seeing someone else. Did I lose her? The uncertainty he never felt before is now eating away at him. And the beauty of this shift, you're no longer the one waiting. You're no longer looking at your phone, hoping he cares. Because now you are focused on you. Flipping the script means you stop making him the center of your world. Instead, you pour that energy into yourself, your goals, your growth, your happiness. When you do this, something powerful happens. The more you pull away, the more he starts chasing. He suddenly realizes what he had, but now it's slipping away. He wants your attention again, but it's no longer freely given. He wants back in your life, but now he has to prove himself. And for the first time, he is the one feeling like an option. This isn't about getting even, it's about creating balance. You gave too much and he gave too little. Now it's his turn to feel the weight of that imbalance. It's his turn to wonder what went wrong. And most importantly, it's your turn to decide if he's even worth another chance. They say you don't truly appreciate something until it's gone. That's exactly what happens when you step back from someone who has treated you like an option. When you were always there, answering his calls, responding to his messages, making time for him, he took it for granted. He assumed your presence was guaranteed, that no matter how little effort he put in, you would always be available. But now, you're no longer there. And that absence, it speaks louder than any words ever could. See, people notice patterns. When you were always there, it became routine for him. He never had to question whether you would pick up the phone, whether you would still care, whether you would still prioritize him. But once you step back, that routine is broken. And suddenly he feels it. At first, he might not acknowledge it. He might assume you're just busy or playing hard to get. But as time goes on and your energy remains distant, he starts to feel the shift deep in his bones. The attention he once dismissed as a given is now missing. The warmth of your presence, the way you made him feel important, the way you were always there to listen, all of that is now absent. And that absence, it creates a void. That void forces him to reflect. Why doesn't she text first anymore? Why isn't she reacting to my stories? Why does it feel like she's slipping away? This is where reality hits him. He starts to realize that he didn't just lose someone, he lost you. And you weren't just anybody. You were the one who supported him, the one who cared deeply, the one who showed him love without conditions. And the irony, he had all of this when it was freely given, yet he didn't appreciate it. Now that it's gone, he craves it. Now that you're no longer prioritizing him, he starts to wonder how he ever let you go. Absence creates presence, because when you remove yourself from someone's life, they have no choice but to feel what it's like without you. And once he feels that, once he truly understands the weight of your absence, that's when he finally realizes what he took for granted, Doc. When someone treats you like an option, it's natural to feel hurt, frustrated, even angry. You might feel the urge to make him feel the exact pain he put you through to ignore his texts, to make him jealous, to play the same games he played with you. But let me tell you this, true power doesn't come from revenge, it comes from self-respect. Revenge might feel satisfying in the short term, but it still keeps you emotionally tied to him. It still means that in some way he has control over your actions. And that's not what you want. What you want is to rise above it. What you want is to show him not through spite, but through your growth, that he no longer has a hold over you. Self-respect means walking away with dignity. It means choosing yourself over someone who failed to choose you. It means understanding that you don't need to prove anything to him, because the real proof of your worth is in how you carry yourself, how you invest in yourself, and how you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. The best revenge isn't in making him jealous or playing games, it's in showing him that he lost something real. And the way you do that is by thriving without him. By being so focused on your own happiness, goals, and self-love that he becomes a mere afterthought. Self-respect is in your silence when he tries to come back. It's in your refusal to engage when he suddenly realizes what he lost. It's in the way you don't entertain his excuses anymore. Because the truth is, when a man sees that you respect yourself enough to walk away, he feels it. He realizes that you are no longer desperate for his attention. And nothing is more powerful than a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle. So instead of seeking revenge, seek growth. Instead of trying to make him feel small, make yourself feel big by living your best life, by surrounding yourself with people who value you, by pouring love into yourself the way you once poured it into him. Because at the end of the day, self-respect is the ultimate power move. When someone treats you like an option, it leaves a deep wound. It makes you question yourself, your worth, and everything you gave to that person. The pain of realizing that someone you cared about never truly valued you can be overwhelming. But here's the truth. Pain is not meant to break you, it's meant to shape you. Right now you have two choices. You can let the pain consume you, keep you stuck in self-doubt, and make you bitter. Or you can use it as fuel to become stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before. The choice is yours. Pain has a way of revealing truths we often ignore. It teaches you who is truly there for you and who never deserved a place in your life to begin with. It forces you to reflect, to grow, and to see things from a new perspective. And most importantly, it teaches you what you will and will not accept moving forward. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what can I learn from this? What did this experience teach you about self-worth, boundaries, and the kind of love you deserve? What patterns do you need to break? What parts of yourself need healing? Pain is often the greatest catalyst for transformation. Think about all the times in life when heartbreak, disappointment, or failure pushed you to level up. This moment is no different. The hurt you feel today can be turned into unstoppable confidence, resilience, and self-love. Instead of sitting in sadness, start shifting your focus. Pour your energy into becoming the best version of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. Hit the gym, start that business, take that trip, or embrace a new passion. The more you invest in yourself, the less power your past has over you. And here's the beautiful part. One day you'll look back on this pain and realize it was the moment you found your true strength. The moment you stopped settling. The moment you finally put yourself first. And when that day comes, you won't feel anger or regret, you'll feel gratitude. Because this pain didn't destroy you. It built you. One of the most powerful things you can do after being treated like an option is to shift your energy completely away from that person and back onto yourself. The best response to someone who didn't appreciate you, living your best life without them, not for revenge, not to make them jealous, but because you deserve to experience joy, fulfillment, and success on your own terms. For too long, you may have centered your world around him. Maybe you waited for his calls, rearranged your schedule for him, and prioritized his needs over your own. But now it's your time. Now is the moment to rediscover yourself, to embrace the things that make you happy, and to create a life so fulfilling that you no longer even think about him. Start with your passions. What sets your soul on fire? Maybe you've always wanted to start a business, learn a new skill, travel, or reconnect with old friends. Now is the perfect time to do it. Instead of sitting around wondering if he will ever regret losing you, become so focused on your own happiness that his absence becomes irrelevant. Self-care should also be a priority. Pour love into yourself in ways that you never expected from him. Go to the gym, take care of your skin, healthy, and dress in a way that makes you feel confident. This isn't about impressing him or proving a point. It's about showing up for yourself the way you always wanted someone else to. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Often, when we are too focused on one person, we neglect the friendships, family bonds, and personal relationships that truly bring us happiness. Reconnect with the people who love and appreciate you. Build a strong support system that reminds you daily that you are valued, loved, and never an option. And most importantly, embrace the mindset of abundance. There is so much more waiting for you in life: new experiences, new friendships, and yes, even new love. When you live fully and unapologetically, you open the doors to opportunities and connections that you never imagined. One day he might look at you and realize that he lost someone irreplaceable. But by then it won't matter, because you'll be too busy thriving, too busy embracing the life you built for yourself, too busy enjoying the happiness you created. And that is the ultimate shift in power. There's something powerful about removing your presence from someone's life, especially someone who once took you for granted. When a man treats you like an option, he never truly expects to lose you. He assumes that no matter how he behaves, you will always be there, waiting, hoping, and willing to forgive. But the moment you step away for good, everything changes. At first, he may not even realize what's happening. He might assume you're just being distant for a while, or that you'll eventually come back as you might have done before. But as time passes and you remain silent, he begins to feel something unfamiliar: loss. Loss doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in slowly. It's in the unanswered texts, the missing good morning messages, the lack of attention he once received from you. It's in the moments when he expects you to react to his stories, to check up on him, to care. But you don't. And that's when it starts to sink in. He begins to wonder, is she really over me? He checks his phone more often, hoping to see your name pop up. He scrolls through old messages, trying to relive the attention and warmth you once gave him. He sees you moving on, thriving, happy, and for the first time, he understands what he lost. And here's the truth. Men often realize the value of a woman when it's too late. When they can no longer access her energy, her kindness, her loyalty, and her love. When they see her glowing without them. When they finally understand that they weren't just dealing with any woman, they were dealing with someone truly special. The difference now: you no longer need his validation. You are not waiting for him to regret losing you. You are not sitting by your phone, hoping he reaches out. Because by the time he truly feels the loss, you will have already moved forward. You will have already discovered a version of yourself that no longer craves the love of someone who couldn't appreciate you when he had the chance. Letting him feel the loss is not about revenge, it's about reality. He had a choice. He could have valued you, prioritized you, and given you the love and respect you deserved. But he didn't. And now, he gets to live with that decision. And that's the beauty of walking away with your dignity intact. You didn't beg, you didn't plead, you didn't lower your standards just to keep him around. Instead, you chose yourself. And now, he is the one left wondering. At first, he might try to act unaffected. He might distract himself, go out with friends, maybe even entertain other women. But deep down, he will start to notice something. None of them are you. None of them will match the way you made him feel. None of them will provide the same depth, care, and loyalty that you did. And when that realization hits, that's when regret starts to sink in. You see, when you were available, he had the luxury of choice. But now, that choice has been taken away from him. And nothing haunts a man more than the woman who walked away and never looked back. The late night thoughts will come. He'll remember the way you always listened, the way you supported him, the way you made even the smallest moments feel special. And you'll realize that the love you gave was rare, but by then it won't matter to you anymore. Because by then, you'll be too busy creating a life where you are the priority. You'll be too busy discovering new passions, meeting new people, and embracing a happiness that no longer depends on his presence. The tables have turned, and now he is the one feeling what it's like to be an option, a forgotten, unimportant afterthought. But the difference, this time it's not because you're waiting for him. It's because you've outgrown him, and that's where your true power lies, not in making him suffer. Not in waiting for him to feel the pain, but in the fact that you no longer care. See, the real shift happens when you stop needing closure from him. When you stop looking for signs that he regrets losing you. When his absence no longer stings because you've built a life so fulfilling that his presence is no longer required. There may come a day when he reaches out. Maybe he sends a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" text, hoping to test the waters. Maybe he tries to reconnect, suddenly realizing the mistake he made. But by then, he will be nothing more than a chapter you've already closed. You won't feel the need to respond. You won't feel the need to prove anything. Because the truth is, you won't need anything from him anymore. Not an apology, not an explanation, not a second chance. He will finally feel the pain of being treated like an option, not because you intentionally set out to hurt him, but because you simply moved on. And that, right there, is the most powerful thing you could ever do. So let him sit in the loss. Let him wonder what happened. Let him realize on his own that he took something priceless and treated it like it was replaceable. Because the moment you chose yourself over him, that was the moment you won. At the end of the day, this was never about him, it was always about you. About realizing your worth. About refusing to settle for being someone's second choice. About understanding that the love you give is rare, and only those who truly appreciate it deserve a place in your life. So now the focus isn't on whether he regrets losing you. It's not on whether he feels the pain he once caused. The focus is on you, your growth, your happiness, your peace, because the real victory isn't in making him feel what you once felt. The real victory is in finally understanding that you never needed him to feel whole in the first place. So hold your head high, step into your power, and never look back. Because the best part of your story, it's just beginning.